continue to us to experience changes in our surroundings, especially the environmental changes we have encountered.
Sometimes we think and ask why are these changes happen around us and what are the causes behind them. Are they natural phenomena that are out of control or phenomena that are caused by us living creatures?
In this podcast, we will be discussing about climate change, what it is, its causes and effects, and how we are going to find solutions for it to mitigate its influence. I'm Sandara.
I am Kyla.
And I am Jennifer.
Welcome to Educ Diaries, where we will have an informative talk about climate change.
Climate refers to a long term, usually at least 30 years, regional or even global average of temperature, humidity, and rainfall patterns over a seasons, years, or decades. It is the condition of the atmosphere at a particular location over a long period of time.
Climate change is a long-lasting change in the weather arrays across tropics to poles. It is a global threat that has embarked on to put stress on various sectors. It is also one of the most pressing issues of our time, with far-reaching consequences for human societies and the natural world.
Climate change is an intergovernmental complex challenge globally with its influence over various components of ecological, environmental, social-political, and social-economic disciplines. The change in climate offers variety of effects, and thus, its causes are the ones that we should be studying in order for this occurrence to mitigate.
Some amount of climate change can be attributed to natural phenomena. Over the course of Earth's existence, volcanic eruption, fluctuation in solar radiation, tectonic shifts, and even small changes in our orbit have all had observable effects on planetary warming and cooling patterns.
Scientists also agree that human activity is the primary driver of what we see in our life. This type of climate change is sometimes referred to as anthropogenic, which is just a way of saying caused by human beings. The unchecked burning of fossil fuels over the past 150 years has drastically increased by the presence of atmospheric greenhouse gases, most notably carbon dioxide. At the same time, logging and development have led to the widespread destruction of forests, wetlands, and other carbon sinks, which are natural resources that store carbon dioxide and prevent it from being released into the atmosphere.
Our ways of generating power for electricity, heat, and transportation, our built environment and industries, our ways of interacting with the land, and our consumption habits together serve as the primary sources or drivers of climate change. But what exactly are the effects of these natural and human-driven causes? Climate change is our planet's greatest existential threat. If we don't limit greenhouse gas emissions from the burning of fossil fuels, the consequences of rising global temperatures, including massive crop and fishery collapse, the disappearance of hundreds of thousands of species, and entire communities becoming uninhabitable might actually happen.
Climate change affects the weather, environment, livelihood, and living organisms directly. As global temperatures climb, widespread shifts in weather system occur, making events like having higher average temperature, longer lasting droughts, more intense wildfires, and stronger storms.
From the poles to the tropics, climate change is disrupting ecosystems. Even a seemingly slight shift in temperature can cause dramatic changes that ripple through food webs and the environment. Climate change causes melting the sea ice, sea level rise, flooding, warmer ocean waters, and marine heat waves, and ecosystems stressors in the environment.
Climate change is also threatening species like animals and humans. Animals are already suffering from the biodiversity crisis, which is driven primarily by changes in land and ocean use, like converting wild places to farmland, and direct exploitation of species like overfishing and wildlife trade. Climate change significantly impacts animals through habitat loss and alteration, rising temperatures and extreme weather events, such as droughts and floods, disrupt ecosystem, forcing animals to migrate or adapt, often unsuccessfully. These combined effects threaten biodiversity and the delicate balance of natural ecosystems, leading to species extinction and ecosystem collapse. Ultimately, the way climate change impacts weather, the environment, animals, and agriculture affects humanity as well. At worst, these effects on humans could lead to widespread famine, disease, war, displacement, injury, and even death. For many around the world, this grim forecast is already their reality. In this way, climate change poses an existential threat to all human life.
Everyone can help limit climate change, from the way we travel to the electricity we use and the food we eat. We can make a difference. Eating more vegetables, fruits, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and less meat and dairy can significantly lower your environment impact. Producing plant-based foods generally result in fewer greenhouse gas emissions and requires less energy, land, and water.
One of the most important things that we can do to combat climate change is drastically reduce our consumption of fossil fuels. The burning of coal, oil, and natural gas in our buildings, industrial processes, and transportation is responsible for the vast majority of emissions that are warming the planet, more than 75%, according to the United Nations. We must replace coal, oil, and gas with renewable and efficient energy sources that offer more benefits and less harm to people.
We must be responsible for our energy consumptions as this has hazardous impacts on our environment, even if it also has its own benefits. We must then choose renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, hydroelectric, and geothermal that offer a promising path toward a carbon neutral future. These sources are naturally replenished, emitting minimal greenhouse gases, and are increasingly cost competitive with fossil fuels.
And also, we have to protect and restore our ecosystem, bring it back to life, and give it colors. We must promote reforestation, protect existing forests, and restore degraded ecosystems that are crucial for carbon sequestration and biodiversity conservation. Reforestation can help absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, mitigating climate change.
We must also practice reducing food waste, as food waste is a significant contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. Minimizing food waste and the consumer level through mindful shopping, meal planning, and proper storage can make a significant impact. Composting organic waste can reduce methane emissions from landfills and create valuable soil amendments.
It is undeniable that climate change has devastating impacts not just on us humans, but also on plants, animals, and our environment. There are plenty of solutions we have today, and we can still have more if we will think and focus about mitigating the effects of climate change. As humans, the simplest thing we could do is to be responsible for our actions and consider the consequences of the actions we will take in order for us to avoid having contrition in the end. It is also necessary for us to have a good collaboration and connection with the people who can greatly help us, such as the government, to effectively implement the solutions we have.
Climate change is a complex and interconnected issue requiring a multifaceted approach involving individuals, governments, businesses, and communities. As we conclude the podcast series on climate change, we want to leave you with a sense of hope and empowerment.
The journey to combating climate change can seem challenging, but we believe that collective action can lead to significant positive change. We've explored the science behind climate change, its impact on our planet, and the ways in which individuals, communities, and governments can work together to mitigate its effects.
Now, it is your turn to take actions. Every small step counts, from reducing your carbon footprints to supporting climate friendly policies. Your voice matters, and your choices can influence those around you.
Remember, climate change is a global problem that requires a global response, but it is also a local issue that demands local action. By working together, we can create a more sustainable, equitable, and just world for all.
Let us not wait for tomorrow if we could make a change today. A change for our betterment, a change for us all. Thank you for joining us on this climate change podcast. Together, let's make a difference in combating the impacts of climate change, creating a healthy and better environment for all.